So we will talk about prenatal development today. Prenatal development or prenatal period, which I had talked yesterday, the different phases of lifespan psychology. The first phase of the lifespan is prenatal period. That is when from conception till delivery of the baby. So this is the shortest of the all phases of the life. It is only 9 months. So that's why it is the shortest, but one of the most important and most critical period of the lifespan. That's why we are giving some importance or some stress on this period. So prenatal period is from fertilization till birth. The factors which are considered to understand the behavior of a developing child are like why we are studying this period. So why we are studying, these are the main 5 factors, like the genetically determined biological variables we get at this period only. At this period only all the genes of the baby or a person is made, so that they will know that how the person is going to be further in life. And then non-genetically determined biological variables also will be there, like if something happened during this period, like there was lack of oxygen to the baby inside the uterus, or if there was some infection which was to the mother and it crossed to the baby, like HIV infection, even hepatitis B infection can be there. So that also will determine further life of the person. Then child's past learning. I don't understand this because the fetus will not have any past learning. So it's about the behavior of a person. So child's past learning means after delivery, not before delivery. So that also determines the behavior of a person when it's developed. Then immediate socioeconomic, socio-physiological and psychological environment, like parents, siblings, peers and teachers. These are all for the person. What all things, the factors makes a person. And then is socio and cultural milieu in which the child develops, obviously after birth and also little bit before birth. So in the beginning, how the life begins, the new life begins with the combination of male sex cell and female sex cell. So male sex cell is called sperm and female sex cell is called ovum or egg. So male sex cell obviously comes from father and the female sex cell comes from the mother. So then the new individual begins with 46 chromosomes. I have brought a colorful photo of 46 chromosomes. This is 46, but we call it as 23 pairs of chromosome, or we call it as 22 plus 1 pairs of chromosome. Why do we call it as 22 plus 1? Because the 22 pairs, 1 to 22, these are called autosomes. And one pair is called sex chromosome, which is in this photo what I have brought, both are same, so it is XX. So these chromosomes, out of this 46 means 23 pairs of chromosome, 23 number comes from mother and 23 comes from father. So that's how it becomes 23 plus 23, total 46 chromosome a person is born with, and throughout the life, the person will be harboring these 46 chromosomes only. They are not going to loan some extra chromosome from bank, and neither they are going to donate some chromosomes to blood bank or somewhere. So they are born with 46 chromosomes, means 23 pairs, and they will live throughout their life with only these 46 chromosomes. So here we can see that it is in pair. So what happens, this photo is only colorful for a reason, I don't know why. So in the center, these all pairs are joined. It's not shown here, but in the center, all the pairs are joined. So this center part breaks, and then upper half goes somewhere, lower half goes somewhere. So these all upper half and lower half, they separated, and they also contain whole the genetic informations. So this upper half is called one chromosome and lower half is called one chromosome. So that's how it divides, and that's how it forms the ovum or the sperms. Means only the half of each chromosome will be there in an ovum. So it will be 23 in number, not 46. Clear? So only half of each chromosome. So that's why it's called haploid. It is it is in the duplication. You see all chromosomes are duplication. That's why it's called diploid. So our cell, we have chromosomes which are diploid, but ovum and sperm, they are not having pairs. They are having only single chromosomes. That's why they are called haploid. So they are 23 in number. We as grown up, we have 23 in pair, so 46. Okay, so that haploid chromosomes means haploid number of chromosomes, total 23 from ovum and total 23 from sperms. They join together to form zygote. And then this zygote keeps dividing and further forms a baby. So you can see one chota sa sperm. Itna chota sa एक ovum. This sperm penetrates the ovum and only nucleus, this even the smaller part of the ovum. Ovum is only 20, like total the area where ovum is formed is 20 millimeter. That you just imagine yourself, 20 millimeter is such a small. So your ovum itself is only 2 millimeter. Usme se this sperm will penetrate it and only the nucleus of the sperm will go and meet. Other things will disintegrate. So that's how 46 forms inside. 23 from this ovum nucleus and 23 from ovum nucleus, 23 from the sperm nucleus. Total 46 chromosomes finally form in one spot. Okay, so out of this 23, 22 are autosomes, means normal chromosome which will form whole of your body, and one is sex chromosome which will form the sex of the baby. So in female, both pairs of the 23rd chromosome is XX. In males, one of the chromosome is X, one of the chromosome is Y. So when it is dividing to form a sperm, X will go somewhere, Y will go somewhere in a male. So when in a male it's dividing, the cell is dividing to form sperm cell, then X will go somewhere, Y will go somewhere. So while fertilization, if the X wala cell which has 22 plus X, that will go with the ovum, then female will be born. And if the Y will go with, means 22 plus Y will go to the ovum, then male will be formed. Whereas in female, always it will be 22 plus X. Ovum always has 22 plus X. Sperm can have 22 plus X or 22 plus Y. No confusion till now?
No.
No, Dr. Anju. Good.
But
Perfectly not confusing.
Anju, the 23rd pair, which is in the ovum, you said both are X, right?
Yeah, so 23rd is in the ovum, there are not two X's. No, there is only one X because it is 23 only. 22 plus 1X, half, no?
Okay.
It is 46, what I am showing is an adult chromosome. Only half will be there in the ovum or in the sperm. Okay. So why do we need to know what is sex of the person which is inside or which is going to develop? Because this sex thing is very important, because when the children is born and they are grown up, they have to follow some sex kind, their sexual, gender related roles in the life. They are supposed to behave in their gender particularly. Like if they are a male, they are supposed to behave like a male person. If they are female, they are supposed to behave appropriate behavior for a male. So that's why sometimes we say that this boy or this man is not appropriately behaving like a man, or this girl is too like tomboy type. So this is why learning what gender it is, you have to important. But sometimes some problem happens. Obviously there are varieties of genetic problems and even non-genetic problem which can happen in prenatal period or in immediate postnatal period, that can cause some or other problem in gender. Like one is something I can tell you in short, don't get confused and don't write in exam. Like sometimes what happens when everything was dividing in half, from each chromosome, half had to come. One part had to come, one part had to go through other. So sometimes what happened that this X and X both were together and they fail to separate. So in that case, ovum will have 23 single number plus 2xs. 23 plus xx means it will have total 25 numbers. And then suppose the male also have got the normal sperm, means 22 plus x. So in that person, the child which will be conceived, that will be 40, I mean 22, 44 plus xx it has to be, but it will become 42, 44 plus xxx means total 47. Got it? So such kind of problems sometimes happen. So one cell which will get 2x, other cell will have no x or no y. So in that case, the baby which will be conceived will be having 45 chromosome only, not 46, because 22 plus x from father side and only 22 from mother side, because both x's went to some other ovum which is not fertilized. So such kind of things can happen. And even sometimes the division of some other places also will be difficult. I mean, not so good. So some one chromosome will be good, or one chromosome will be broken. So that kind of autosomal problems also can happen. Okay. So this is about the chromosomes division at the time of fertilization. So how a person is formed? So first is maturation. Second is ovulation. Third is fertilization. Maturation means formation of the sex cell in male, and formation of sex cell in female is called maturation. So actually what happens now? A person is born already with however many sex cells they are going to form in their whole life. They are already born with that. So a girl who is born now, just now, she already has enough number of ovums in her ovary already at the time of birth only. Then slowly these ovums start getting disintegrating. I mean, they start getting necrotizing, or they start dying in the life. So by the time she reaches puberty, already so many millions ovums are already dead. So only few thousands are left at the time she reaches puberty. And when she becomes reproductive age, actually total in a whole life, a girl ovulates only around 300 ovums. So suppose if each ovum gets fertilized, she can maximum have 300 babies. No, that is not possible, because 9 months is also needed. So anyway, so maximum a lady can produces 300 ovum in her whole life, whereas she was born with some million ovums at the time of her birth. But these all get disintegrated, and at the time, by the time reproductive age comes and it goes, only 300 ovums are there. Sometimes even less, then we call it as less ovarian reserve, like infertility patients. Sometimes we see that ovum which is left in ovary is not good quality, or sometimes it's not sufficient in number. That's why infertility is so common. Okay, so maturation is the process of ovum formation, and for reaching its normal way, I mean growth of the ovum, so that it can fertilize, so that it can produce a baby. That is called maturation. That will happen through cell division. I told you half division will be there everywhere. So this cell division, I don't think you need to know the details of that cell division. So anyway, with each cell division, 2 new cells will be formed, but only out of these 2 new cells, only one will be used as ovum. Another, the other half of the new cell will be just wasted. Again, this will be like 2-3 times it happens. Half it divide, then half divide. So it's okay. So ovum will have haploid cell having 23 numbers, not 23 pairs. 23 numbers of chromosomes at maturation. Same way, maturation of the sperm cells also causes haploid number, means 23 numbers of chromosomes, not 23 pairs of chromosomes. And this happens, the maturation starts after puberty. Maturation of they are born, but the maturation of the start happens after puberty, and actually maturation completes just before fertilization. So whatever ovum is not fertilized, they actually die prematurely only. They are not even fully matured, and they die. if they are not fertilized, because final step of the maturation happens just before fertilization, means after sperm touches the ovum, then the final stage of maturation of the ovum happens. Okay, ovulation. Ovulation means release of the ovum from the ovary. So in the ovary, ovum will be sitting in different stages of maturation, and during ovulation, there are two ovaries in any female. So during ovulation means from the mostly on the 14th day of the menstrual cycle, the one of the ovum falls from the ovary in the open area inside the abdomen. One ovum from right ovary, and next month other ovum from left ovary. So alternate ovaries, every month one ovum will fall. That is called ovulation, means coming out from the ovary is called ovulation. So when it falls in open area inside the abdomen, at that time only, if sperm is present there, there is chance of fertilization. Fertilization means meeting of the sperm with this photo. Meeting of the sperm with, here you can see one chota sa blue sperm is there. It will touch the ovum. Then final stage will happen. And then you can see one more chota dot is here. This is the other half of the cell division. The cell divided to make it half of the chromosome. So one half, 23 numbers will be here. 23 numbers will be here, and it will get discarded. So here, from here, 23 number will come, mix with this 23, make 46. Okay. So that is called fertilization. So as soon as it touches, then the division occurs. One good ovum will be formed. Another, this is called polar body, that will be thrown away. And then this mixes with that and zygote forms. So 23 from the ovum, 23 from the sperm, and 46 numbers of the chromosome are ready here in the nucleus, and discarded one is getting disintegrated. Clear till fertilization. So what are the characteristics of prenatal period? So prenatal period means from conception till delivery. It is the most important, and it is the first period of development of a lifespan. And also it is the shortest period for a newborn baby or for infant or for any phase of life. Yesterday I told a long list of phases of the lifespan. So this is the shortest period of the lifespan. It goes for 280 days. Or you can say 280 days, you remember this, 270, 290, everything will be written in book, but it is 280 days or 40 weeks. So 40 weeks, in 1 week there are 7 days. So 40 into 7 is 280, right? So total duration of pregnancy is 280 days. Some babies deliver, most of the babies deliver before that. That's why our book is confused and it has written 270 also, but you remember the word 280 is the normal duration of the pregnancy. Some babies can go even beyond 280 days, even up to 294 days babies deliver, and most of them deliver by 270, but still the normal duration of pregnancy is 280 days or 9 months of a calendar. No, it's not 9 months of our calendar. What we use is solar calendar, January, February. This is solar calendar. So it is 9 months plus 7 days in the solar calendar or 10 months in lunar calendar. So that's why in earlier times, ladies used to count that Chaitra, Baisakha, Shravana, Bhado. From that, if you count, it will go to 10 months. 10 months of lunar calendar, because lunar calendar, each month has exactly 280 days, 28 days. So 10 months reaches to 280 days. Whereas the solar calendar, some months have 30, some months have 31. So that's why 9 months plus 7 days of solar calendar. Clear? So what are the characteristics? We are still continuing that. So hereditary factors are important in this time of development, prenatal period of development, and it forms the foundation for the future. Means heredity will be fixed at this time only, and that is going to stay with the person throughout the life. That will tell about the physical and psychological traits that the person is going to be born with, and also the person is going to stay like that. Also, there can be some favorable and some unfavorable conditions in the mother's body that can affect different hereditary potential or some other problem. Sometimes male factor infertility comes from the time baby is born. Some other diseases like hemophilia. There are so many diseases which has come from the mother's body only directly. Rubella kind of things. Then at the time of conception, the sex of the baby is fixed and you cannot change any time in life. Sex, you can change the external whatever by surgery, but you cannot change the sex of any person by anything. It is already fixed at the time of conception when the chromosome met with each other. And also there is the proportionally greater growth and development during this period, during prenatal period, than any other time of the entire life. See, a baby is conceived with just a half cell, not even one cell. It is half cell to a 3 kg baby during 9 months. I mean from one cell to 3 kg baby. It's like 11 million times growth in 9 months. That is the fastest growth for anything in the world. From one cell to, I mean, how many cells you can't even count. It is 3 kg in weight minimum. And also this time is more hazardous than any period of time. If there is something happens during this period, throughout the life, baby has to go with that problem. So this is most hazardous at this time. And whatever happens, you cannot revert it back. That is also another problem. Also, prenatal periods, whatever the attitudes towards the newly created individual has, that has some significant effect on the development. We don't know exactly because we don't know how the fetus is thinking inside. But whatever be the attitude, mother's positive attitude will create a better development of the fetus inside. Mother's negative attitude will create some or other problem inside the baby. So the attitude, this we cannot say exactly because we cannot study it. There is no scientific way what the attitude is working on the fetus, but still there is some effect. Okay, so what are the different periods of prenatal development? Prenatal development, I told you, it is 280 days, don't get confused, or 9 months plus 7 days from the solar calendar, or 10 months from the lunar calendar. Okay, so during this period, 280 days, is divided in 3 stages according to our book: period of zygote, period of embryo, and period of fetus. So period of zygote is fertilization to end of 2nd week. By now you know that fertilization is the 1st day of the conception. Embryo stages from the end of the 2nd week to the end of the 2nd lunar month, means 28 plus 28. Kitna hua? 56 days. And period of fetus is end of the 2nd lunar month to birth. So total 3 periods. The prenatal period is divided into, this has come in exams also. You should remember these 3 periods. So in the period of zygote, the sperm and the ovum meet and they form a zygote. Okay. This happens in the first 2 weeks. They form a zygote, then this zygote starts, this photo is not visible. So this zygote divides from 1 cell to 2 cell, from 2 cell to 4 cell, from 4 cell to 8 cell, 8 cell to 16, 24, 64, like that. Okay. So this is how they divide. So actually what happens, if you know little bit of anatomy, this fertilization does not occur in uterus. The fertilization occurs in fallopian tube, if you have heard this word. So the ovum comes from the ovary, the sperm passes the uterus and reaches up to fallopian tube, and they meet at the fallopian tube. It's like so romantic, meeting on a bridge kind of thing. So they meet on the fallopian tube, they fertilize there, then they start walking hand in hand towards the uterus. So by the time they reach the uterus, they are already at this stage, blastocyst. It's the blast inside the uterus. So the zygote will be in the tube, fallopian tube, everything will be in the fallopian tube. Morula, these all things will be in the fallopian tube. Blastocyst reaches to the uterus. See, it is still smooth till blastocyst. After blastocyst reaches inside the uterus, it starts dividing itself too drastically, and that's how it gets attached inside the uterus. So these things happen in the first 2 weeks in the period of zygote, the travel of the newly wed sperm and ovum towards the uterus. These all things happen in this period. And after that, we start with period of embryo. So the period of embryo is from the 2nd week to the 2nd month. Here the embryo again, blastocyst reached to the uterus, got attached. After that, they start forming the baby, different growth phases of the baby. So these growth happen in the uterus from the 2nd week onwards. So first there was only 1 cell, 2 cell, and then these cells start differentiating. See, all cells are looking same, but see, one of these cell will form kidney, one of the cell will form lungs, one of the cell will form brain, one of the cell will form bone, like it is so diversified. They start differentiation among themselves. This is called tissue differentiation. So during this period, if something happens, that's going to cost too much. So that's a period of embryo is very important for the formation of the different organs of the baby. If any hazard or any neglect happens during this time, there will be abnormality in some of the organs. So these are called teratogens. Whatever the things which are causing the abnormality of the organs are called teratogens. It can be like some infections, some viruses, like X-rays, or some poor nutrition, not in cells are not getting enough nutrition, so they are not able to differentiate properly. So these all things can cause kidney problem, hearing problem. With X-ray, I have seen one baby as lens problem. Lens of the eye was not developed because of X-ray exposure. And then heart problem, like you have heard in the movies, so common, there is a hole in the heart. That all things will happen at this age only. So spinal cord problems. Yeah, you might have heard the word spina bifida, neural tube defects, such kind of things. These all things will happen. Then cleft lip, cleft palate. These all things happen at this time only. So the ear, eye developed during this time. And then at 6 weeks, baby will be ½ inch. There will be formation of the nose, jaw, palate, lungs at this time. Fingers and toes start forming at this time at 6 weeks. In the 7th week, heart, lungs that can form. 7th week in the the genitalia start forming from 6 weeks onwards. Actually, from till 5 weeks, it is male or female, all fetus look same. After 5 weeks, the Y chromosome starts showing that, yes, I'm there, please consider me. So because before 6, it doesn't matter the XX or XY, growth will be same. After 5 weeks, Y chromosome will start showing, please consider me. So from 6 weeks onwards, there will be differentiation, whether it is going towards ovary or whether it has to go towards testis by the presence of Y. Suppose for any reason Y is present, but it's not able to show that I am present. In that case, even if Y is present, there will be formation of ovary and not testis. Okay, so such kind of ambiguous genitalia, neither male nor female, or a male XY born as female can happen from 7th week onwards. From 8th week onwards, the circulation starts, the blood circulation starts in the fetus, even the fetus has all those intricate veins and arteries inside the body. So this all starts after 8 weeks onwards. So after that, 8 weeks over, 2 months over. Now comes the period of fetus. In the period of fetus, this is the longest period of the prenatal development, and this is where the actually by the time period of embryo gets over, already organs are formed. I mean, formation is over. In the period of fetus, they mature. Maturation occurs this whole 7 months. 2-3 months goes for formation only. That's why during formation, if something happens, that's big problem. After that, it's only matures. It has already formed. Only maturation is left. So some problem can happen, but not too much. So we call a fetus after this, we call it. So initially you can see even tail will be there. Yeah, so even tail will be there. Slowly it regresses inside. The eyes which are far apart from each other, they start growing together. You can see things, no? So these all intestines are outside the abdomen. They start going inside. Abdominal wall will be formed. So these all happen in the period of fetus, where organs are already formed, but they have to mature. So at 9 to 12 weeks, the head is half of the body. Half of the body contains only head. Baki half mein baki sab kuch. In other half contains all other things. So tooth bud appear by 12 weeks. Genitalia is now clear whether it is male or female after 12 weeks. That's why in our country there is one bad thing is female feticide, and this people know only after 12 weeks. That's why if scan is done after 12 weeks, they can see, whoever does a scan, they can see it is a male and female. And if they divulge this information to the mother or the whatever parents, then and the parents doesn't want a female child, then they go for female feticide. That's a very strict rules are there against female feticide. So very strict rules are there against people like us, gynecologist and radiologist, who do the scan, that you don't divulge the sex of the baby after 12 weeks. Obviously anyone will, we also come to know after 12 weeks only. So for strict rules are there that you don't divulge the sex of the baby and you don't abort the baby. So after 12 weeks, whatever abortion happens, we have to give a strict reason why you are aborting. And there should be a strict evidence that this is the reason why you are aborting. Sumne, no one will abort after 12 weeks. Okay? Because if there is no proper reason, most probably it is female feticide. So we also don't abort after 12 weeks. Because even if the parents don't tell that we know that it is female, but still we know that they know. Okay. Anyway, so from 13 to 16 weeks is second trimester beginning. Okay, it's in, there are 3 trimester. 9 months is divided in 3 trimester, 3 months each. First trimester 3 months, second trimester 3 months, third trimester 3 months. Okay, so out of this first trimester ka 1 month, though you will not know only, because by the time a person knows that she is pregnant, already 1 month is gone. So only 2 months are left in first trimester, second trimester 3 months, third trimester 3 months. So actually it is 9 months, but a person goes only for 8 months, knows only for 8 months that she is pregnant, because by the time she knows and she misses her period, she has already crossed 1 month. Okay. So fine. Hairs develop on the starts moving in the second trimester. They start sucking, they suck the fluid which is around them, which is called amniotic fluid. And in the intestines, the stool are formed, which is called meconium. The heart beats. Actually, heart starts beating from 6 weeks only. But after second trimester, we can hear it with stethoscope. In 6 weeks, we cannot hear with stethoscope. But in second trimester, we can hear with stethoscope the heart beating. Eyebrows and eyelashes start appearing by 17 weeks. Nails appear at this time only. And mother will start feeling by 20 weeks, the mother will start feeling the baby is kicking inside. That's like so good. All the eye components are developed by this time. Footprints, fingerprints are formed by 21 weeks. And entire body is covered in this white color thing, which is called vernix caseosa. This starts from the second trimester. By the time baby starts developing, maturing by 9 months, it starts reducing. So this chota hairs on the head, it's called lanugo, and this creamy cheese-like structure thing on the baby is vernix. This is formed to prevent the baby going in hypothermia, means baby should have proper temperature. So to prevention of loss of temperature from the body, this vernix is formed. Okay. Some reflex action starts during this time, like swallowing, coughing, sucking, everything. Baby smiles after second trimester, and we can see it in scan. There is rapid brain development during 25 to 28 weeks. The nervous system is developed from body functions to eyelid opening, closing, everything. And after that, the independent life starts from 30 weeks or like 28 weeks onwards. Baby, if born, actually can survive in outside world. In our country, we take it as 28 weeks, but in outside country, even after 20 weeks, they can make the baby survive if delivered. But in our country, we take it as 28 weeks, that after that baby can survive if there is very good ICU facility for the baby. So respiration also happens. It's not that baby takes breath only after delivery. No, baby respiratory movements are seen even during the intrauterine period. I mean, inside the uterus also, baby respires. Bones are fully developed, but they are still soft, and they are actually quite soft till 2 years almost after birth. So this body hair, what I told lanugo, this starts reducing after 33 weeks, and only hair on the head remains, and body hair starts reducing. This vernix also starts becoming less and less in amount. So if it goes beyond 28 to 80 days, beyond 280 days, if the pregnancy goes, then hardly any vernix will be left on the body. And so the term baby will have around 7 to 8 pounds of the size of the weight, and the head is same size as shoulder. And all the antibodies and nutrition, everything is transferred from mother to baby. That's why there was one debate going on since 1 year, that whether pregnant women should take COVID vaccine or not. It's still going on. So because after COVID vaccine, the antibodies are formed in a person's body. So because all other antibodies cross through the placenta, so this antibody will also cross through the placenta, and these antibodies will go to the fetus. But we don't know whether baby will be good for accepting this antibody or not. So this debate is still on, whether during pregnancy the COVID vaccine should be given or not. Okay. You can see this newborn baby. It is so cute with so much of vernix on the baby. Baby is so healthy. And the lanugo, this is the band where the mother's name will be written. And this is mother. You can see the mother's face. Immediately, I think after birth, baby is given on the chest of the mother for having this psychological love, affection, development between mother and the baby. Okay, so what are the environmental influences which can happen in the prenatal period? So we can say that even the baby is not born in this period, but still we call it as a human being, and a fetus obviously has all the rights of a human being, because fetus is respiring, fetus is having heartbeats, obviously it's alive. Then how can it not have fundamental rights? It has all the fundamental rights what a normal human being of that country has. So it's an active part of the society. So what environmental influences can the baby have while division. So as the zygote goes in division, new cells become part of the mother environment, and through their particular physical and chemical influence, they guide and control the development of further new cells. Okay, so what is first is mother's disease. Suppose mother is having some disease like rubella virus, cytomegalovirus, herpes virus, mumps virus, polio, influenza, such kind of virus can cross the placenta and can go inside the baby and can cause some problem like mental retardation or some teratogenic effect. Like in diabetic mother, there is so much of sugar inside mother's blood. So this sugar also crosses the placenta, and there will be so much sugar in the baby's blood. So that's why there will be some abnormalities. Some cells which were supposed to grow only this much, they will grow so much. So there are so many abnormalities in the baby born. Heart abnormality, sacral abnormality, diabetic mothers are seen. Or like if there is some hypertension in the mother, then blood flow to the baby will not be sufficient. Baby will not get sufficient blood flow. So baby's growth will be retarded. Also, baby will have some other problem. So mother's disease obviously is going to affect the baby. In case there is some septicemia, means there is some infections of the bacteria inside the mother, that will obviously will go to baby, and baby will also be infected. This infection will cause some other problem in the baby. Or some drugs or chemicals what mother is taking, thalidomide, barbiturates, or some drugs, alcohol, these all things are going to cross and they will cause some abnormality, limb abnormality, brain abnormality, heart, mental retardation, or later psychological problems, hyperactivity disorders, attention disorders, or what do you call that? Baby will be alone, no, what is it called? Okay, so these all things can happen if these drugs and whatever chemicals mother is taking, it goes. So that's why before taking any drug or before doing anything particular during pregnancy, they should ask the doctor. We have a list actually. We have a list of drugs. Drug A, drug B, drug C, drug X. Means drug A is safe during pregnancy, you can take, like iron, calcium, those things come in that group. Drug B is like benefit is more than the risk, so yes, you can give, like some antibiotics. Drug C is like risk is more, benefit is less, so you have to think whether you want to give or not. Drug X is like, no way, you cannot give this during pregnancy at all. So these are the groups we know. Accordingly, we give the drugs to the patient. Radiation during first trimester is so very bad. Even after first trimester, it is not recommended to have radiation, but in serious conditions like you see in corona, the CT scan was so much necessary. There we got so many ladies who had corona and they were in bad conditions, and we needed to know their CT scan in 9th month or 8th month, sometime like that. So we did some CT scans for those ladies with some precautions, but obviously it is injurious to the fetus inside. And they in early pregnancy, if you do in first trimester, second trimester, there are chances of abortions and all. So unless there is very indication of radiation, we should not. And first trimester, obviously if there is radiation in the first trimester, just abort the baby, you cannot continue. Next is abortion. I don't know how is abortion related to the development problem in the prenatal, because the baby is aborted, now it's not there itself. Anyway, abortion is a problem in the psychology of the mother actually, not the psychology of the baby, because baby is aborted, now it's not there. How will it have a psychology on the baby? Anyway, so abortion is a very important thing in our country. I told you, because there is chances of female feticide, which is very common in still some part of the India. It's very common, and there are various methods of legal, illegal abortions still happening. Still we see mothers dying because of illegal abortions. There are very strict rules. You cannot just buy a ultrasonography and just keep a ultrasonography machine and start doing. No, you cannot do that. Even we cannot just open any clinic and start seeing the patient. We have to always do the registration for everything. And every pregnancy is again registered. Every abortion is registered. So abortion is very important for society point of view, not I think for the prenatal period. Again, age of the mother. Like if the mother is teenager, anyway nowadays before 18 pregnancy and uh, marriage is only totally illegal. That is very big. POSCO Act is there. If anyone becomes pregnant before 18 years, even if she is married, still it is illegal and the husband will go to jail. So that is called rape, even if she is married. So age of the mother, not only for legal problem also. If teenage pregnancy itself is a high risk pregnancy, there are so many problems, abortions, infections, hypertensions that can happen in teenage pregnancy, early age pregnancy before 20 years. Also, if there is pregnancy after 35 years, there is high chance of diabetes and then abnormal babies, Down syndrome babies, and other kind of mental retardation babies that can happen in if the age of mother is more. So below 20 years and above 35 years should avoid the pregnancy as far as possible. I don't know why today I got one patient, she's married for 5 years, she's 35 years, and she had already taken pill from some tablet and she was bleeding heavily. I don't know why she had to take the pill. What the hell? Anyway, nutrition and diet of the mother also is the very good environmental influence on the development of the baby. What the mother eats and what the mother does not eat, both have an effect. Suppose we write the tablets and she doesn't eat them, obviously baby is not going to benefit from that. Mother is going to be nutritionally deficient, baby is also going to be nutritionally deficient. Growth of the mother will not change, but growth of the baby will change, and this growth is going to reflect throughout the life, not only during the 9 months. What the mother is eating and what mother is not eating, both have the role in pregnancy and role on the baby. Then stress in the mother. If there is so much of stress, the stress hormones and stress chemicals will be released inside the body. You don't think that stress will work through the stress only. It's not like it's only in the mind, it's there in whole body, because the stress hormones, stress chemicals start releasing, they get transferred to the placenta, they again go to the baby. So mother stressed, baby stressed. So this thing also will affect the fetal development with anxiety related problems, and also there can be chances of preterm labor. I mean, they can deliver before time, or there will be some membrane rupture or something. The RH incompatibility. See, this is very good thing. There was one question on RH incompatibility in last years of exams. See, there is like mother is RH negative, father is RH positive, then there is problem. If mother is RH positive, father is RH negative, then there is no problem. Because when mother is RH negative, the baby is having 50-50 chance. Because it can be RH negative also, it can be RH positive also. So if mother is RH negative, it means if baby is RH positive, then that extra thing which is there in the baby, mother will not recognize that, because mother has not seen that RH thing in her body whole her life. So if mother will not recognize that extra RH thing inside the baby, that mother will form an antibody against that baby only. So it's like mother's own blood will kill the baby, because RH thing is present on RBC, and you know how many RBCs are there in person's blood. And if each RBC is killed by antibody, then obviously baby will die. So that problem will cause erythroblastosis. Such a simple name. Erythro is the blood used for RBC. Blastosis means they are killed before only. Blast, you remember like that. So that will cause erythroblastosis and ultimately death of the baby. Or if by the time mother creates sufficient number of antibodies, you may deliver it, then it won't have that much effect. But then next time again she becomes pregnant, again baby, if baby is RH positive, there will be problem. Okay, I finished the chapter. RH incompatibility, if you didn't understand, I'll tell again.
So, doctor, in this RH incompatibility that you said. So as you said, in this erythroblastosis, there's chances of the baby to die. So are there nowadays better methods to kind of take care?
Yeah, there are my kind of better methods. Means we do this testing, this blood grouping of the mother at the first sitting only. As soon as she becomes pregnant, we should know her blood group. If she is Rh negative, then we do the blood grouping of father. If father is also Rh negative, not at all a problem. If father is Rh positive, then there is 50-50 chance of baby becoming Rh positive or Rh negative. So in that case, we don't check whether baby is Rh positive and Rh negative. We just assume that mother will form antibodies. So then we give some injections for mother to not form antibody. Problem will happen only if mother will form antibody, and this antibody will go and kill the RBCs of baby. So we'll give some injections throughout the pregnancy to not form antibody. And also we keep on checking whether mother is forming antibodies or not.
Okay, thanks.
Clear, no?
Yes.
Okay. And
Can I
what are
stop
the
recording?
chances?
Dr. Anju, I had a question. Catherine here. See, I am a B negative blood group, and when I conceived year back in 2003 for my first child, she was O positive, and my
Hey,
husband.
just a second. Hey, just a second. Hey, stop recording, na?
Oh yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So that time during the